It's recording?
Yeah.
Alright, so our overall goal here is to play the E minor, then the C, then the G, then the D. Okay, so today we talked about learning this new note right here, which is what we call a pivot note, because it's going to be used in all of these chords. So the chords are pivoting on that point. So it's always constant throughout the rest of the chords. When you play the E minor, try not to do this. You want the E minor like this, so that the middle finger is practically on the fret right there. You can see like that, okay? Now remember, we've got this common note back down here. We've got E minor, then the C, then that shape moves up to the G, then down to the D. Now from the G to the D, all you want to do is you're going to kind of pay attention to that middle finger, because if you do that, that'll make it easier. Okay? So then once you get that down, you just focus on the left hand only and get this movement down really well. Now, remember, you don't have to push down at this point, because all we're doing is we're teaching our brain where the sweet spots are on the fret and making sure that we are making those chords as they should be, okay? So you got the E minor, the C is in the sweet spot, G is in the sweet spot, D is in the sweet spot as much as you can. Okay, then once you get that down really good, then shut that down, put your hand over it, okay, and get a dry strum. Then come down here and start dry strumming. Remember the OK pick grab, very, very important. So when you do this, remember you don't want to grip the pick too hard. It's just a nice loose grip like this, because if you do, it'll bite into the strings, okay? Another thing too is we don't swing from our wrist, we swing from our elbow at this point in the game. You'll see that I shake somebody's hand and I move my wrist this way a little bit, but I don't like kind of do this in order to make it happen, okay? All right, so now we go down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Okay, remember on that up strum, you don't go all the way through, it's just a few strings. Okay, now the next pattern you're gonna learn is down, 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 up, down, up. Okay, so then you get comfortable with that, remembering the OK pick grab and remembering to let it just go across the string nice and smoothly. There is no bite to it, there's no aggression. If there is, it means you're digging down into the strings too hard or you're gripping the pick too hard, okay? So then when you put it together, it's gonna sound like this. The next pattern is going to be down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down. So you get that comfortable. Do this again, make sure that you've got your chords the way they need to be, and then you can play it. Okay, so when we get ready to do zombie, that's actually just going to be all down strums. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? But the most important thing right now is that we get the left hand automatic, making sure you're in the sweet spots, watching it, okay? Making sure that the fingers aren't totally separated out, but they're together having a good time. These guys are friends. Okay, so you got that right there. And you'll notice when I make these shapes, all of my fingers are touching for the most part. Now, that's going to be a little tough to do at the beginning, but I just want to show you what the overall goal is for all these fingers to touch, because they all communicate with each other. And so that's how you can look away and you can play those chords and stuff, as everything is touching and the fingers are hanging out, okay? They're having a slumber party and they're eating finger foods. Get it? That will be the dumbest thing you hear all day. Okay. So left hand, we're just getting focused and concentrated on the way that it moves. Then we fret it and hit one note, two note. And then later on we can kind of get picky about trying to figure out, okay, what note? There it is. We need to fix that one note, okay. And try to get the clarity of the chord. But that isn't until later, okay? Our number one goal is to get this memorized right here. E minor, C, G, D. E minor, C, G, D. And then to do this, then you can kind of play around with the ideas. But you could even just bounce back and forth between C and G. The song just got really happy. Made me want to go run through a field of daisies with a puppy. Anyways, E minor CGD can be played in any order, like here it is backwards. South from there. Sweet home Alabama. So that's D, C, G. You just switch it up to G, D, C. You got knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. So that's kind of what you want to make sure you're doing. Constantly checking with yourself, making sure that you're not doing this, because this really will cause problems for you in the future. We want it to be an okay pick grab. And then, you're the detective when it comes to the left-hand type stuff. You want to make sure that those fingers are in the sweet spot. So other than that, problems, there's a few. Is going to be P is for posture. You know how you're holding the guitar, how you're holding your back. T is thumb. This is our thumb. Making sure that it's not all crazy, right? We don't want to out sideways like this and da-da-da-da-da. We don't want to up like this so that it's in the webbing of our hands. We want the thumb just kind of like right in there. See that little crease? Just kind of right somewhere in there, whatever's most comfortable, okay? So then you've got E minor, or excuse me, then you got problem. There's is angle and arch. We don't want the arch to be too much, or you get this right here. So then F is fingers, meaning the fingers are going to make sure that they're in the sweet spots, that the placement of them and stuff like that. We play on the tips, not the pads. E for elbow, right? We don't want to be out here flapping around like a bird, but we also don't want to be back in here. We want it to be about right there, because you can see just a little bit of movement in that E, and that elbow brings it out. Okay, and then W is what?
I forgot.
No.
I forgot.
W is wrist. So you want to make sure that your wrist isn't completely cocked forward like that, or else that'll cause problems too. Alright, so go ahead and practice those types of things. Feel free to make up your own chord progressions, because you can rearrange those chords in any order you want. E minor, C, G, and D. And then also, if you want to invent different rhythm patterns, feel free. I mean, that's kind of what this would sound like. But the pick is just kind of lightly glancing across the strings. So the way you get that is through the pick. We don't want it to be straight. We want it to be angled a little bit, so that it cuts through the strings. Okay? And the pick is one of those things that you just got to keep playing with it, and eventually it will get more comfortable, and it won't be as difficult to use. Okay, that's all. Bye-bye.